Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukkake, your host. Having traveled back to Neverwinter, our heroes find themselves in a whole world of trouble. Butthole's been arrested for crimes unknown. Quinny needs to escape with his friends to escape his past, and they're still looking for not Petyr Baelish. What could possibly go wrong? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
And the paladin says, yes, I heard enough. And he pulls out a huge flaming sword. He points at you and he says, in the name of the Lord, you are under arrest for crimes against Neverwinter and for starting the cult of the Moon Knights.
All right, so I raise my hands slowly, and I look down at Goblin Jr., and I look at Alan, and I just say, run.
All right, smash cut to the Beached Leviathan. Quinny, you arrive in the Beached Leviathan. It's an upside-down ship. You know, it's in good repair now. It's been running for quite some time. You know, there's a band playing. It's kind of like some gently off-tune lute music. Looking around, you don't see Not Pete anywhere.
I know this to be Not Pete's, one of his usual haunts.
Yes, that's correct.
That was good information from.
Yeah. So of the taverns that the two of you have been at, I mean, one thing you know as sort of a career criminals, there were certain bars that you're very comfortable in, and there's certain bars you work.
Okay.
This isn't one of the bars you work.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the ones that
cards.
Well, no, I mean you do, but this is like honor amongst thieves work, where it's like a bunch of con artists will con. You know, it's that classic Western scene where like the camera pans around and everyone has 10 aces. It's like, but I've got 11 aces, and it's like, ah, damn, you beat me again.
Okay.
So no, you can absolutely there's games to be played. There's people who show up trying to be cool enough to hang out with the career criminals,
right?
And you can fleece them as much as you want. Okay. But you like it here, and you feel like this is kind of Not Pete's jam, particularly as a smuggler. There's a certain charm in hanging out in a ship.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I head up to the bar then and get a drink, and I just kind of wait it out, have a look around. This I also kind of want to soak in this atmosphere because I've been out on the country road and stuff like that, and fighting ghouls and mines and shit. Like this is nice.
Yeah, you recognize the bartender is a half orc named Elzor. He's sort of constantly chewing something that you're pretty sure is a narcotic, but have never bothered to ask.
Got it.
And she always seems to have her eyes are remarkably blue for some reason, which is really weird on an orc, and also possibly a result of what she's chewing. But she's a great bartender, and you guys get along really well. So yeah, he's very pleased to see you back. And when you show up, she's been pouring from one cask, but she clearly moves to a better cask for you, and she's like, I wouldn't give you the regular swill.
Hey, Elzor. Good to be back in town. Good to see you.
And good to see you, Quinny.
Glad to see the Beached Leviathan is still retained its charm.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're an upside-down boat. It's nice. It's easy to have charm.
Hey, have you seen not Petyr Baelish around?
Not Petyr Baelish. No, not in some time.
No. I bumped into old One-Eyed Stink, and he said he was around here.
Oh, well, so you're trusting to his one eye.
As much as I can. It's the only info I got to go on right now.
Oh, that's fair. Well, I mean, as a bartender, generally I don't make a habit of revealing my clientele. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe he was right.
Thanks, Elzor.
You're welcome. Maybe I should have given you this will after all.
From down below, though, from far down below, where the mast should stand tall, but instead goes deep down into the underground because this is an upside-down ship, Quinny can hear the familiar click-clack of dice. And that very familiar song, spots on the square, throw 'em down twice, cross your fingers, that's how you play dice.
And I am laughing out loud in character as well, like, oh man. And I head down the shaft of the mast into the basement, into the cellar.
There's basically there's a rope ladder. There's also just a knotted rope. The knotted rope is kind of a joke for drunk bros who think that they can manage a rope when they're drunk.
We call it the joke rope.
There's kind of a standing bet anytime someone goes down the rope as to whether or not they'll make it. Do you take the ladder or the rope?
I'm sober. I'll take the rope.
All right. Roll me an athletics check.
Well, I suck at athletics, so let's do this. Natural 20. Oh, I love this die.
You have a standing bet placed on yourself that you will succeed, and many have a standing bet placed on you that you will fall. You've been building this gamble for a while because you purposefully fell several times. So what you do is you start going down, and you're like, whoop, and you fall for like half the mast, and then you catch it very dramatically and slide the rest of the way down, landing in like a ha-ha.
Outstanding.
And upstairs you hear a God damn it every time, and the clink of coins.
Clink of coins? To me?
Well, no, Elzor covers all that.
Okay.
She'll pay you on the way
I'll be
out.
collecting that.
Well, you didn't pay for your drink, so maybe just
damn
count
it,
your
Elzor.
blessings.
You bamboozled me again.
Son of a bitch. You find yourself in the sort of catacomb that's been dug out of the ocean bed where the mast used to lie. And on a table that has been draped with a tablecloth that used to be the flag of the ship, you see not Petyr Baelish with a fistful of dice and a small mountain of coins.
And under my breath, I say again, so fucking cool. But I keep my composure and I walk over to the table, kind of like arms spread out, like, hey, buddy. And I say, not Pete, how are you?
It's been a long time, hasn't it, Quinny?
Yes, it has.
It's wonderful to see you in Winterfell.
Good to see you, too.
Neverwinter, sorry.
I knew what you're saying. I picked up what you were
That's why
laying
I
down.
like you. You get me. Not a lot of people get me, and that's usually how I like it.
What brings you to Neverwinter?
Well, I have a pretty cool system of catacombs and a flag from this ship that used to spell danger, but now simply spells out how cool I am for sitting down here.
You are one cool cat.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I myself am actually just walked in through the city gates this morning. Yeah, I was looking for you, actually.
Really? Mm-hmm. Is there some kind of crime time you're looking to commit? Is there some kind of sumptuous action on the wrong side of the law that you wish to achieve? Or is it simply that you missed your old friend, not Petyr Baelish?
Well, I think the latter goes without saying.
That's really nice. Thank you. I was really fishing for that. I'm not going to lie.
I think the former also goes without saying.
Cool.
Yeah. Not Pete. I was wondering if you could kind of do what you do best. Do a little bit of smuggling for me.
Smuggling.
Yeah.
It's been years since I've dipped my fingers in the sweet nectar that we do, as people call smuggling. But I suppose for you...
I don't buy that for a second. What, are you gone straight and narrow? Gone legit?
Well, I would certainly not describe what I do as narrow and who I am as straight.
So what?
Oh, you're talking about my business.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
No, I
Speaking about your
still
morals and
firmly
your scruples.
live in the shadows of what we call legality.
Perfect. That's good to hear.
But smuggling, now that is an art.
Are you up to it?
Oh, I thought you knew me.
All of a sudden, there's a scream as someone falls from the rope. They hit the ground, kind of look up at both of
Not
you,
again.
clearly realize shit's going down, and rapidly run up the rope.
Yeah, I do nothing. That did not faze me.
That's Billy. He thinks he's better at athletics than he is. One day he'll get there. I believe in him, and I don't know why.
Taking Billy under your wing?
Well, I have my wings to fly. Why take weight under them?
I need to stop using metaphors around you because you are kicking my ass with words.
For the record, I also rolled to see if Billy would ever become a proper athlete. He rolled a 3, so the answer is no. He will, however, learn to criticize athletes and speak highly of it later.
He's going to be pretty big on a thing called Twitter that's coming.
Yeah.
It's a system in
featured
the
on
Forgotten
ESPN a
Realms
lot.
where you write 140 character messages on the feet of birds.
But that's not important right now.
No, so I want to tell you right now, it's not like typical cargo. I need you to smuggle people. 3 people.
3? Mm-hmm. And what will you give me for smuggling this precious, precious cargo of yours?
Well, this cargo is just that. Very, very precious.
Yeah, it's people. I value lives.
So tell me what your fee is.
You've been traveling, haven't you?
That I have.
What is the most valuable currency you currently have?
Got a couple platinum coins.
Is that all you have?
If we're talking currency, yeah.
Now I'm talking money.
This is a delicate dance of death that you and I are doing.
Yes, a real pirouette on the pinpoint of a sword's edge.
Give me a number, not Petyr Baelish. Give me a number and I'll see what I can do.
I will take your coins, but I require something else. Something that money can't buy, which I'm going to get ahead of you right now and say, not more money. Can money buy money? Look, that's a logical... We'll get into that later.
Exchange rates and whatnot.
Etc. What I require is something as precious as the cargo that you wish to ship. There's a person in your party that gives me pause, that I am deeply interested in. Someone who seems to be able to raise from the very depths of their deep a belief in something they've never seen before. I would like the secret to their abilities. In order to obtain said secret, I must obtain them. You wish to transport 3 people. I need the essence of this person.
How do you know these things?
I'm not Petyr Baelish.
Quinny smirks to himself and says, of course. Of course, you're not Petyr Baelish.
So, Quinny and not Petyr Baelish, you find yourselves at a bit of an impasse. Quinny, of course, you're hesitant and also a bit uncertain as to how to capture the very essence of one of your compatriots.
Yeah.
However, if she's speaking of the one that indeed this particular DM thinks she is, he does emit a lot of presence, so there might be some chance there. And as for you, not Peter, you see an opportunity to gain deep insight that you spent a lot of your life seeking from this particular deal. And while the platinum coins will go a long way to solving some of your financial woes, grabbing the essence of someone who believes so deeply sounds pretty powerful and pretty important. What do you each propose?
I'll say this to you, and I say it because I consider you a friend. I will set you up with Captain Anak Ayang Ayu.
Come again?
Anak Ayang Ayu.
Oh, okay.
Anak.
Yep, Anak.
Repeat after me.
Okay.
Anak
Anak.
Ayang
Ayang.
Ayang
Ayang.
Ayu.
Ayu.
You have to know this because when you encounter him, if anyone mispronounces his name, he gets pretty, well, I will say toasty.
Anak Ayang Ayang Ayu.
So close but way off. Anak Ayang Ayu.
Anak Ayang Ayu.
You got it.
All right, okay.
I will happily set you up with him. And I will take your coin. Actually, I could take it or leave it. Coins are currency of a world in which is easy to traverse. But this essence I need. I don't have to have this essence now, but I do need it. And I have people who will follow you to the ends of this known world until you deliver it to me. So, if you need my connections, my smuggling abilities, I can provide, but the cost will be
It is my great
exhausted.
displeasure to say that I do need your abilities. I can get you this essence, okay? I don't know how yet, but I can get it for you. And then we're square?
We are, as you say, square.
Anak Ayang Ayu?
You got it, buddy.
All right.
So meanwhile, back in the Upside Down Hat Tavern, the paladin has demanded Butthole that you surrender to the rule of law. In quickly looking around the room, all these people are very scary looking. These people look a lot tougher and more militant than you've seen. They're probably some of the higher ranked troopers in the Neverwinter militia.
Yeah, so I'm going to look back and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Boys and girls, you're wearing armor. I don't want to offend anybody based on their gender. I respect who you are, who you identify as.
And
Thanks, buddy.
and because Neverwinter also respects all people who serve for it, no boob armor. Just armor for everyone.
Yeah, do you know what? Just functional armor.
But there's still room, like, in case, because of, like, just how the way the flesh works, but it's not, like, you don't, like, when I wear it, it's not sexualized.
No. Yeah, it's not exclusionary. We support you, whoever you are.
And it supports me.
As it should be. As it should be. So I take out Moonlight Bringer, and I'm like, I'm moving very slowly.
Yep.
And then I just sort of hand it to Alan, and I walk forwards, and I'm like, I will surrender let's get these other people out of here. I don't know them. A wizard, don't believe in wizards. That's clearly a wolf. Gross. So I'll surrender and we'll go, and they should leave.
The paladin looks at the wolf, who's clearly decked out in Moonhammer armor, and looks at you, and looks at the wolf, and looks at the wizard who you just passed a giant warhammer to, who seems very comfortable with this and not at all confused about it, and says, "Nice try, but you're lucky that we only want you."
Is there like a back way out that's open?
You're asking the paladin?
No, I'm asking the DM.
The paladin I shouldn't tell you that information. No, I mean, you don't really know this tavern that well. You spent one night in here.
So I can't see, there's not like a busted hole in a wall or anything like that where they could get out.
Plus, there are, like, you get the sense that the entire area is surrounded.
Fuck.
The paladin kind of nods to you and accepts your surrender.
Well, I'm like, whoa, though. I surrendered them. You gotta let them go, and then we don't gotta fight. Everybody's friends. Why can't we be friends? You seem real skilled. I like your flaming sword.
Why can't we be friends? With the kind of chaos you've wrought upon my city, you and your followers.
Okay, clearly
Moonhammer.
I should have opened with, "I'm innocent." That would seem like a good opener. This is my lawyer. I came here willingly to surrender to fight these charges because this is crap. I am being framed. This is my lawyer, Alan. This is her assistant. And actually, this is my emotional support dog. I have anxiety, so I have this here to keep me calm. So he keeps me calm. That's why I'm surrendering so graciously. I want to sort this out just as much as... What's your name, my friend?
I am Paladin von Strauss.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Paladin von Strauss. I've heard great things about you. I've heard great things about the von Strauss family. So I'm here to surrender, but I need my emotional support dog, and I need my lawyer.
And
we're here to fight these charges.
Says, you're very reasonable for a butcher, but as a paladin, I of course respect the rule of law, and glad you brought your own lawyer. We didn't want to have to pay for one ourselves. Lawyer, what is your name?
I'm Alan, and I'm a lawyer.
Excellent. Well, Counsel Alan, please come with me. Yes, bring the... I'm afraid you'll have to recuse the prisoner's weapon to the higher authority of Neverwinter.
Why?
The paladin just like face palms, and the wizard behind him is literally muttering a string of like, "Oh my god, what the fuck, really?" But the paladin says, "Listen, as evidence in the forthcoming trial, you must be aware, as legal counsel, that you can't. If he is proved innocent, fat chance of that." He may have his weapon back, but as a holy icon of the accursed cult of Moonhammer...
Yeah, no, I get that, but you're taking him away. He's going to be locked up, not able to get his weapon, so...
It will be evidence in the trial.
I can have it.
You may leave it at the Hall of Justice, along with all the other evidence of the crimes of Moonhammer. Beginning to doubt that you're legal counsel after all.
No. You know, you gotta play the game. It's okay. All right, you can.
I look
take
at
his
Alan
weapon.
and I'm like, Alan, when you check that weapon, just make sure you get that little like chit that they give you with the number on it, because if we lose that, it's a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Like that happened once.
The wizard actually pokes around the side of the paladin's like, actually, yes, that's really bad for us too. It's really a tremendous organizational nightmare.
Logistical shitstorm.
Yeah,
Yes.
the chain of evidence is a fucking train wreck if we lose that number.
Yes, excellent. Okay, well, please accompany us to the Hall of Justice. And he nods to a couple of his enforcers, and he says, place the circlet on the prisoner. So they come up and they place sort of a collar around your neck. It's an enchanted collar. You suddenly feel your connection to the magical powers you have is somewhat severed. You're familiar with this technology from your days in the Mercs. Largely, it's very hard to imprison wizards. So they've come up with a lot of anti-magic enchantments that are available to sort of higher powers to keep people from, for example, handcuffing a wizard, then they cast Fireball because they didn't need their like hands free to do that. So it's a little uncomfortable for you. It's a little unpleasant. Basically, your head feels a little bit foggy, but you do recognize it as standard practice.
Immediately, because it's like mildly unsettling, I just fart like a bunch. And it's bad. Like it's like I'm not panicked because I've got like I'm muscling my emotions inside, and I got my emotional support dog. But like my body's like, it smells like a fucking bog. Like it's bad.
So the paladin manages to mostly keep a straight face during this. The wizard behind him vomits onto his leg and leaves. Alan, your senses are still slightly heightened from all your vampiric touching.
God.
So can you roll me a fortitude save?
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Much like the Dread Pirate Roberts, you've been around his stank so much that you slowly built up an immunity.
To iocane
Yay.
powder?
Yeah, that's what this fart smells like. Yeah. You recognize it as unpleasant in the way that walking through an art gallery, you might see a piece that offends your aesthetic. But you're also resolute to show your strength and commitment to the cause. You take a whiff and just stare at the paladin, who kind of acknowledges that, as a good lawyer, that's what you're here for, but is secretly disgusted. So,
And then I whisper to Butthole, I'm like, okay, express yourself on the inside.
And then I
we
look
don't
at
want to give too much away.
I look at Von Strauss and I just go, I think your wizard's sick.
Von Strauss takes one squingy step and he goes, yes, he does that. Come along. And you are taken to the Hall of Justice. Cut to the Beached Leviathan, where you've come to an uneasy bargain, Quinny, and not Petyr Baelish.
I'm actually going to leave. I'm going to head back and meet up with the gang and trying to convince them to come down to the docks and meet Captain Anak Ang. See, I want to say like Anak Sunamun, but that's like...
That's not what you
No,
want to
no,
say.
the Egyptian
It's
princess
so
from the Mummy.
important that you remember this. Anak Ayang. You know what? I'll come with you. I'll come
Would you?
with you. Yeah, it's Also, like, buddy, I'm not gonna lie. I've just been hanging out in the basement of an ocean, just like clacking dice by myself. Like, it's nice to get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got a real cool look down here. I gotta
Hey.
say, I was impressed when I came down.
Thanks.
Anyway.
It's just only cool when you have visitors,
Okay, buddy.
Other
We're not
than
there
Bill?
yet, so just kind of keep that stuff to yourself.
Sorry, yes. The crimes and smuggling and
There we
etc.
go.
I'll
Yes.
go with you.
Honor among thieves and whatnot.
Yes,
Very
and
good.
whatnot.
So you come back up the rope ladder. You see Bill up, like, getting ready to attempt the rope again. He seems a little bit ashamed of himself, but he's going to give it a go. Elzor kind of nods to you and holds up, like, the coins that you won in the bet, and then holds up your bill and looks at both of them and shrugs and goes, sorry, Quinny, and then, like, pockets the money, crumples up the bill.
Next time I will take this swell. Jesus Christ, it's expensive here.
Yeah, it's gotten, like, the word got out about the bar. I mean, when you tell people it's an upside-down ship, they think, oh, well, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
That's a novelty that I don't see anywhere else.
Slack-jawed gawkers.
But that's the charm of this place. Just like the sea would have taken this ship will now take your money.
You get such a way with words, not Petyr Baelish.
As a kid, I used to steal my brother's journal and read his dreams and correct the grammar. You know how it goes.
Sure.
So you exit the bar and make your way back out into Neverwinter. As you step out, sort of into the last light of the evening, or the day leading into evening, Quinny, you're finally able to get your first proper look at not Petyr Baelish. What do you look like, not Petyr Baelish?
Ah! So glad somebody asked.
You're welcome.
Not Petyr Baelish looks exactly like Petyr Baelish.
Great.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So you make your way out into Neverwinter, and Quinny, you've been on the road with some pretty decent folks for a while, but damn, it's nice to be hanging out with another criminal.
Oh, it's so good to be just
you guys
bombing around town.
Crimes.
Oh, God, do I miss crimes. I miss committing crimes, and I just love...
You go into something and you think to yourself, what does the law say? And you say,
I'm going to do
"Nay,
the other thing.
Going to do the other
Yes.
thing.
Man.
Crimes.
And I just love palling around with the nephew of the queen from the movie Shanghai Nights. Just having a great time.
That's not me. I just look like him.
Okay, you look like him. Okay.
I'm going to give you each 1 point of inspiration for being pals.
Where are we going?
Yes, so you're headed to the, speaking of crimes, to the Upside Down Hat Tavern.
Where I knew
which
my
is-
friends would be to meet them.
But when you arrive, you find that the area seems pretty stomped over. There are a couple of guards who seem to be taking care of a couple of corpses inside the building.
Uh-oh.
And you see no sign of your friends.
All
That's
right.
too bad. They've gone a whole week without more dead bodies.
Yeah, there's one of the guards is flipping over the little sign that says, like, days since our last dead body.
I
not Petyr Baelish just gives like a curt nod to the guy because they both understand what's happening. Yeah.
The guy nods back with kind of I don't even know why we bothered to change the sign,
Yeah,
but it's there.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put a finger to my lips and kind of gesture to not Petyr Baelish. Excuse me.
We are excused.
Gesture to not Petyr Baelish, like, let's go in for a closer look, but like quietly see if we can maybe eavesdrop on these guards.
So there's two ways you can go about this. One is if you want to use investigation, that'd be like walking up and just casually asking them some questions. Perception would be hanging out nearby and listening in. So
That's so not Petyr Baelish's style.
Oh,
you're
okay.
gonna go up, walk and talk.
No, I mean like listening in. Like
It's so not Petyr Baelish's
Oh, I'm
style.
sorry. Yes, I got it.
It's very much up, not Petyr Baelish's alley.
commitment to a bit. Okay. So I'm gonna roll for perception.
And I will as well. if that's
But
cool with
first,
you.
I'm going to need you both to roll me a stealth check.
Oh, I thought you would never ask.
Okay.
Well, I did.
I rolled a 2. I hope that'll be enough.
I rolled 11, so that's 17.
Dang, that's pretty good.
So they
2 plus 10 puts me at 12.
Yeah, they notice you, Quinny. But the good news is that as seasoned thieves, not Petyr Baelish, you take that as your opportunity to kind of immediately take up better position as they're distracted, as the one guard's distracted with being like, "Hey, you get out of here! Your droids are not welcome here."
I'm just a tourist.
Tourists.
Is this a good place to eat?
Is this where the one bridge still is? I don't understand.
Listen, you.
Is this the beach Leviathan?
I read about it
Listen.
on the Yelp.
As you would have seen from the helpful Yelp board, which is, of course, where we post handwritten reviews
Yeah,
on a
the
wooden
town
board. No, this is not the Beach Leviathan. That's the upside down boat that's like over there. I understand they're both upside down. That can be confusing. No, this used to be a sort of a hipster tavern, kind of run by a shady guy, though. So, as a tourist, you're probably not going to want to hang around here.
Oh,
And besides, aren't you a kid? Like, you shouldn't be drinking.
thanks. I'll go find my dad now.
Finally,
Bye.
DD&D deals with a dad issue. So Queenie kind of like skips away, but not Petyr Baelish. You, I assume you're kind of, the way I see it is like 70% behind a pillar, but enough that we can see you kind of like schemily looking.
The only way I can scheme is if
Yeah.
other people can see me scheme. Now you think that's counterintuitive, and I'll tell you right now, it is.
Excellent. But luckily in this case, because you rolled so high, it is not. So now you can go ahead and roll me your perception check.
Okay. Oh boy.
Total of 4?
Total of 4.
So you're in an absolutely perfect position to be like vaguely seen and to feel real schemy. Unfortunately, that's outside, and they go back inside.
I'm such a poser.
So all you can kind of hear are little snippets of conversation.
Can I follow them to where they're going and try to remain unseen to see if I can get any more information?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So roll me an additional stealth check, please.
Okay. 13.
So you get the sense that if you were tailing people normally who are paying attention, they'd probably see you. But these guys are busy hauling corpses. So
Right, yeah.
good news. So you follow them for, they're kind of like dragging them to essentially like the graveyard, which is a little bit south of the tavern. Yeah, roll me a perception check, please.
Okay. 9.
You're staying far enough away that you won't get caught, but it's a little hard to hear. What you do manage to pick up are a few snippets of conversation. You hear the word "damn Moon Knights" said a few times, and looks like they finally caught the leader, and they both seem pretty excited about that.
Okay.
And they hope that justice will be swift.
All right. I would like to use detect thoughts.
Oh, damn. Yeah, all right. Go for it.
Shit.
So you actually don't need to roll for that.
Oh.
So basically, once you
Time to
cast
be
it,
alive.
you immediately gain access to the surface level of someone's thoughts. So just kind of what
You are
their
that subconscious
criminals are.
Freudian
However, you can also then attempt to go deeper. They get to roll a save
Okay.
to attempt to repel the invasion.
So I get a sense that these guards aren't necessarily going to lead me to anywhere that I want to go. Maybe this is not where my fight is. Maybe I should.
It's up to you. But based on your sort of criminal knowledge, these look like kind of low. They look pretty low down the chain of command. They're on cleanup duty. What you'd probably get from their thoughts are some things that are going on around town, also things that the guard would be aware of. So that might give you some leads on things, might not.
Well, I'm here. Let's try it out.
Do it up.
Let's
Right.
see.
There are two guards. Let's say one is kind of short and very thin. The other one's sort of a tall, bulky guy. Which one do you want to tap into?
Oh, the short and thin guy, because he is not so preoccupied with his brawn. Like, he's got to get around in a different way.
Interesting. All right, great. The guards are both kind of chatting about what's just happened at the Upside Down Hat. So the sort of surface level thoughts are primarily about the cult that has appeared in town over the past month or so, called the Moon Knights, and they seem to worship a god named Moonhammer. And the issue with them is that they've been slowly seizing control of the underworld. The Dead Rats, which are a gang of thieves that you personally have been in touch with a bit, who tend to operate up the coast, have also upped their presence in recent days. There seems to be sort of a struggle for the underworld going on. Amidst this, Carmine Falstaff, the kind of new, he's basically sort of a Falcone from Batman universe, like a legitimate businessman who's kind of got his finger in a bunch of things, is missing, presumed dead, along with his staff. So there seems to be a bit of a power vacuum going on. Flip side of that is Lord Neverember is pissed off that any of this is happening because the investors are in town to possibly invest in the new bridges, and as a result, he wants everything wrapped up as fast as it can. And the capture of the head of this cult is huge news and very exciting. So that's generally what's floating around their heads.
Well, that's very interesting. Knowing that, and knowing if I could secure the head of this cult for myself, take them as a prisoner and perhaps bottle their essence so I understand how they reach such mass quantities of people, but get those investors on my side.
Do you want to go deeper, or are you going to leave it at that?
I'm going to leave it at that and take my own thoughts with me because I'm full of hubris.
Good news is you don't need to cast anything to take your own thoughts with you as you go.
So I've got that going for me, which is nice.
Do you convey that to convey the information you just learned to Quinny?
I come out to where Quinny is, and most of me is just
somehow
like,
got a lollipop.
yeah, honestly, I'm just like, bless your heart. Like, a lot of me is just like, yes, sweetheart. I debate whether to share this with him, but it's been too long.
I debate whether to share the lollipop with not Petyr Baelish.
You don't know where my mouth's been. I decide not to.
Cool.
I don't share it with him.
Okay.
And I think instead I'd like to just follow him to where he needs to go to help his friend. I have this information, and information is as valuable as, frankly, any kind of physical currency you can have. So
Are you sure you're not Petyr Baelish?
I'm not Petyr Baelish.
All right.
You kind of nod to each other, and not Petyr Baelish basically tells you that she wasn't able to hear much, which is fine. You had a hard time listening in too, so it seems reasonable. And then all of a sudden, someone comes staggering out of an alleyway, and he grins a big grin at you, and you see the glint of a gold tooth, and he says, "You came back! Friend!
Oh.
Fun with friends!"
Good old you.
And he runs up to you and gives you a hug.
Oh, friend. It is good to see you. Oh, man.
Where have you been? So much has happened.
I was out of town on some business. Say,
business is fun. Why didn't you bring me?
Well, I think last I saw you, you were unconscious in an alley, friend.
Yeah, thank you for helping me once all those barrels fell on me. That was real bad.
Hey, no problem.
My mouth hurts so much. But look, I got a new gold tooth, just like you said I should.
Hey, that's great. I'll take a closer look at that later.
That doesn't sound ominous.
Say, buddy, have you been hanging around here for a while?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, not since the tavern got all wrecked.
Right. What's going on? Anything happened at the tavern? Did you see my other two friends?
Oh, man, yeah. They were just in there. They totally got attacked by the city guard, and now they're taking that big guy with the beard who smelled so good. They're taking them to the Hall of Justice.
My friends are at the Hall of Justice right now.
Yeah, one of them's on trial, and then his like tall lawyer friend, who is that one that we were drinking with, who drank so much.
What?
You remember
Oh,
that?
God,
She drank
Alan's
so
pretending to be a lawyer.
much.
Jesus. Not Petyr Baelish. We got to go.
Can I come with you?
I shove him into the alley. What was his name?
I'd like to take that gold tooth. Like, that'd be nice
That's
to
what
have.
I did the first time. I've taken one of his gold teeth.
So he stumbles in, and he's kind of on his knees, like looking at the water, and he's like, stupid man. Oh, man, you'll never fit in because you're so stupid. And he like splashes his reflection.
I would like to spin around and say, yes, you are, and then punch him out and take his gold tooth.
All right, roll me a melee attack, please. So
18
Yep.
plus
That'll definitely hit. He's just a dude who wasn't expecting it. You punch him right in the mouth. Can you roll me a d4, please?
3.
So he takes 3 points of damage and is unconscious.
I pull the gold tooth from his skull.
Can you roll me a strength check, please?
18 total.
All right. Well, despite your general lack of strength at -1, you still managed to wrench that tooth out. It's not your
Ambition
first
knows
rodeo.
no bounds.
Yeah, you take his gold tooth.
And I whisper into his ear, because I can.
You rejoin Quinny, who gives you a knowing nod.
I take out my golden tooth and say, "Hey, tooth buddies." Clink.
Clink.
We do a real cool handshake that only we know. That ends with us whistling a hot tune that also only we know.
That's right.
Yep.
And we do that.
And we do that.
And you continue on your way to the Hall of Justice.
Find it interesting that justice needs a hall to exist. I'm sorry, you want to go somewhere else? I'm done.
So it's the most
Because I'm just going to ramble.
not Petyr Baelish thing you can do.
Petyr Baelish, Lord of Filler.
Hot dogs. I'm a hot dogs.
So Quinny and not Petyr Baelish, you arrive and are informed that your friend is upstairs. You enter through sort of the main hall. The Hall of Justice is very grand. You can tell that justice is a very important thing to the people of Neverwinter, particularly given all the chaos and turmoil of the past few years. It seems that they really respect the rule of law here. You head a couple flights of stairs and enter into a sort of a long jail cell or prison room. There are 4 jail cells. One of them has a short dwarf who seems to be working on wood carving. The hallway, basically, it's there's 2 cells on either side. At the very far end, there are 2 guard tables that overlook the room, and the southern wall is essentially a large, open, sort of half moon crescent with large, heavy pillars. And you notice in the light as the sun comes down, they cast what looks like giant bar shadows over the rest of the prison. So it's a very oppressive space.
Yeah, bars upon bars.
And at the very south end, there seems to be a very old statue of sort of one of the lesser deities of justice that seems to have been through quite a lot. So Butthole is currently in a cell. He's got a magical collar on that as an ex-con you definitely recognize as a magic dampening agent. Trafficked in those for a while. They weren't fully functional, but they certainly looked the part. And
that's what counts.
Until
it doesn't.
Well, you had a certain joy in knowing that it would only take your somewhat more law-abiding citizens only so far before their criminal charges could escape, which always brought you a small amount of glee. So you've been informed by von Strauss that the charges laid against Butthole are for founding the cult of the Moonites here in Neverwinter, and for instigating the gang war that's taken over parts of the town. He says you'll be tried in 3 days' time by the 3 magistrates of Neverwinter. Once you're elected to magistrate position in Neverwinter, you're given a title, so you don't know their names, but they go by See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Speak No Evil. You will be tried on all those charges. If found guilty, you'll be summarily executed. However, since the city of Neverwinter does respect the rule of law, you are entitled to a fair trial. And your legal counsel, Alan, will be heading up the defense case. Yeah, that's where you find yourselves.
We're now like in contact
Yep.
with
So
Butthole?
basically, what is allowed here in Neverwinter is as the sort of legal. They kind of recognize the 3 of you as the legal team for Butthole in this particular case. So you'll be allowed to confer with your client at day's end. You have 3 days until the trial. Whatever evidence you can raise by then can bring to bear, and you'll be able to check in with him at the end of every day.
Okay.
So once I was arrested and put into the cell, I immediately demanded, knowing I could legally get away with this, I demanded a full copy of all the evidence against me. So I've got like 2 tables and I've got like little glasses and I've got all this stuff laid out and I'm like reading it, looking like I really know what the fuck is going on. But like I've barely read the first page.
Can you roll
I'm just
me
there.
an investigation check, please, sir?
4 total.
Jesus.
So the documents they provided you are like in heavy legalese. So you look very impressive. but it is exhausting to read this stuff. Like, it's just like,
I'll tell you
what
right
the
now.
hell's a defendant?
I'll tell you right now. Honestly, I didn't even need a dice roll for that. Like,
you're also particularly confused about what the fuck a Moonite is.
yeah, I think my main goal in reading this is I'm aware that not a single document will make sense to me on its own, but I'm hoping that if I read like all the words and have faith, that maybe I'll be able to like piece together something in my like subconscious overnight. Like, I'm never going to be a guy who go through a legal doc and be like, this is a brilliant legal argument. I'm like, this is just give me facts and maybe I'll fart out an argument or something.
Like literally.
Yeah. I might actually eat some pages and hope I can fart out a page that'll read things back to me.
Cool.
Can I say, before Not Petyr Baelish and I join the rest of the group, I just want to pull Not Pete aside and say, look, you're about to meet the two of the three people that I want smuggled out of here, okay? Including the one whose essence you're looking for. I will get you the essence, but I need this guy moved beforehand, okay? Can you promise me that we can get him out of here?
As a smuggler, of course.
All right.
Also, just remember, I'm still not Petyr Baelish.
I'm never going to forget that you're not Petyr Baelish. Guess Kat's just kind of losing it for a second. Go ahead, Kat.
I'm laughing at my own joke.
Great.
So I look up from my cell as they approach, and I'm like, hey, who's your new friend?
This is just an associate of mine.
Not Petyr Baelish.
Okay, we're using real names. This is not Petyr Baelish.
So who are you?
Yes, real names. Not Petyr Baelish. You...
No, I'm aware you're not Petyr Baelish, but like, who are you?
I don't... No one's ever asked me that before.
He's not asking like existentially, who are you?
First of all, I'd like to dive back in. Not true.
Oh, man.
I am asking existentially, who are you?
And we've only got 3 days? Great.
Yep, both for this play session and game time.
Do you know what, Quinny? You make a great point. I think it's time for me to figure something out. I'm going to die. I just prayed. I'm going to die. This is doomed to my death. Someone has poisoned the church, not me. And I'm going to die. So do you know what? That's why I can ask this question. I'm fucked.
Well, that's it? You're just packing it in?
Moonhammer spoke. Listen, sometimes you just got to accept it. Things die, even in Moonhammer's world.
Ask a different question.
I think that was a pretty big question.
Alan, as legal counsel, how are you feeling about all this?
Look, all right, butthole. We don't even know what the situation is. Like, we don't really know exactly why you're being charged. Yeah, we get that there's some, I guess, Moonites. We don't even know what a Moonite is. Why don't we figure out what you're being charged with and why, and then go from there? Because without that information, we don't even know what questions to ask.
Do you know what, Quinny? I think we should listen to Alan. She's a lawyer.
I agree. You're already throwing in the towel.
Listen, I'm going to die. And do you know what question I didn't ask? Is it going to be in 3 days? Everybody dies. Sometimes you avoid asking the scary question and you just ask the smart question. I'm comfortable I won't be immortal. Let's move on. Alan, lawyer, what's the plan?
I'm glad we addressed that.
So, Alan, do you have a plan, or would you like to roll me an insight check?
Oh, insight. I have no plan, being not a lawyer at all. 23 total.
Alan, basically, as you see it, there are a number of things that are very strange about the situation. First of all, you've seen Butthole convert a bunch of people, but no one's ever called himself a Moonite. That seems crazy.
Yeah.
Second, you know that Butthole is the first person to ever either encounter Moonhammer or just straight up made Moonhammer up. And which of those do you think is probably more true?
Daddy made Moonhammer up.
Cool.
Yeah.
So as a lifelong academic, you're fully aware that you've never encountered Moonhammer in any books. So you think maybe that might be somewhere to start. There's a chance
This is going to be tough for Butthole.
that if you could prove that Moonhammer doesn't exist, that might shoot a hole in the case.
I don't think your client is going to find that acceptable.
So
My client doesn't have a say.
So not Petyr Baelish. Can you please roll me an insight check as well, if you would?
Okay. 9.
In the few days you've been here, you've sort of kept your ear to the ground and obviously sort of talked to some of your criminal contacts. And one of the things that you've been hearing, and you don't have many details on it, but you know that there's some word that there might be some embezzlement happening based around this bridge project, and that it might be happening in one of the higher levels of government. So based on your own personal bias, that might mean a judge. You're not sure which one, but there's a chance that there might be something you could leverage there.
Yes, of course. I mean, it would make sense if it was the speak no evil. Why would they talk about their embezzlement?
So I'm going to say, all right, so let's do a powwow. We got 3 of you. I got 3 legal counsel. Alan's head counsel. You guys are both like whatever the sidekick lawyers are whenever those touring plays go around. Do you know, have you seen Law and Order?
I have seen Law and
NVU?
Order.
The touring play.
I have seen Law and Order and
Yeah,
Pride and Prejudice.
Law and
Yeah.
Order Neverwinter Victims Unit. That's the one that does like the counties. So I saw a lot of that.
Oh,
We're big fans.
NVU, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one guy was like, "You can keep this nation." Like that guy, I love his work. So I'd
it's
say
someone
It
on a-
never works like it does in the touring plays.
no.
It just works exactly like it does in the touring plays.
So I look at it, I'm like, okay, so what they always do is everybody presents their plan. So each of you have an idea,
I've
and
got
then
an
we'll move
idea.
forward. All right, so let's hear him. Quinny,
All right.
go for it.
Look, it's my limited understanding that no one knows who these three chancellors are. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, right? That's their identities. So if I'm looking at you, not Petyr Baelish, and me, not being, I would say, the most crucial parts of the legal team because you're the lawyer, Alan.
Yeah.
If we find at least two of these guys, swap places with them because nobody would know the difference, and then we just give you a not guilty verdict and get the hell out of Dodge. That's my plan. Who's next?
I look at Quinny and I say, I love plans that involve costumes, and I love plans that involve pretending to be people we're not. And that sounds pretty good. Let's see if anybody can knock that one down.
try and top
Peter Baelish.
I gently touch Butthole on the shoulder as if to say, yes, but.
Hole. You just called me butt. It's butthole.
And just for a moment, once again, I am entranced by everything he chooses to be.
This episode of Dum Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, our special guest, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum Dums and Dragons.